Okay, it's St. Patrick's Day time of year again, Pat. I know it's early to call the year, but how are things looking in the Shannon Midwest area?
Yeah, Eamon, I think it's in fact some positive signs are happening. We're certainly delighted with the early part of the year, and some of the former bookings are looking better than they were last year, so that's hopeful. But I think it will be a very tough year still. We're coming off a very tough 2009. We're hoping it'll be a little better, and certainly picking up on some of the trends that are in the market early. We would be mildly optimistic for a little bit better than break even, which
That's
would be a good
result. So
result.
it's not happy days are here again, but at least some improvement, hopefully.
Some improvement, yeah.
It's been a tough couple of years. Of course, competitive international air access has always been critical for Shannon, indeed the whole west of Ireland through Shannon Airport. And I suppose looking back on it now, open skies and more recently short-haul reconfiguration of services have not been kind to Shannon, or indeed to the west, as I say. Is this an irreversible trend, or is there something you feel can be done to get growth in air services into and out of Shannon again?
Yeah, I don't think it's irreversible, Eamon. I think it's a potential. I think it's a challenge. I think what's come through is that, in fact, the effects of the open skies and liberalisation have been much harder and more impactful than people thought, even though we were working off some very, I think, best and worst case scenarios, that it's been somewhere below the worst case scenarios, and it's going to take a longer time to come out, but I think we will. Certainly we're in the throes of that adjustment, but we're hopeful, despite some of the setbacks that we've had in the west and particularly in the Shannon region, that we will bounce back from that with a very good mix again of, I suppose, scheduled and charter service.
Yeah, that's good. And Shannon, of course, has always been to the fore in creating imaginative tourism product from originally from the castle banquets to the folk villages and the Hunt Museum, more recently the tremendous development of the Cliffs of Moher. Yeah. What are the current plans for product development in the area?
Well, quite a lot. Like, we're working on a new range of products. We're doing a fairly extensive feasibility into 4 or 5 new product areas that actually would hope to be the next wave of product to meet the new market and new trends. In particular, in the last year or two, we've been working very heavily on trailing, walking, cycling, running, meeting all the kind of the new wave of activity-based holidays. Yeah. And in fact, in the recent top 10 guides in the world there, done by the Lonely Planet, Clare came out as one of the top places in the world to cycle. Yeah. And on top of that then, what we've been doing is putting some of the big events and international events, like recently we signed a deal with IMG for an ETAP cycling event, which complements the work we've been doing on the trailing. So it's these combinations of new product and new areas and new market opportunities coming together that are leading us into new product development. So
that's terrific. That's great to hear, and it is the way of the future, of course, the outdoor activity and health-based
absolutely,
holidays.
Absolutely.
That's terrific. Yeah. At a recent news briefing, I heard your CX talk about a renewed focus on Limerick with an emphasis on developing sports business and tourism for the city. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Pat?
Yeah, I think if you think of it, Limerick has always had a good sports brand. I mean, if you think from Munster rugby, all those good things, and the university and the colleges with quite a pedigree in sports, and particularly Gaelic sports. We believe that's a strong brand for Limerick moving forward. Like, already we've signed a deal for Limerick Marathon, which is happening in May. We've just had the big Skyfest event there. Paddy's kicking off this Paddy's Week festivals, which is great. But we believe there's much more opportunity, not alone in attracting sports and activity business, but also the business of sports, as in the manufacturing, the spin-off, the lab testings and athlete support. That's a big area. In fact, we were in London last week, came back from a meeting with some very prominent sports lawyers who believe that there's an opportunity to set up some business international services in the region, particularly in Limerick. But what we're doing is targeting 2 to 3 major events for Limerick and the Shannon region each year that actually roll out that sports agenda, and we've got quite a number of kind of interesting meetings on those.
That's good news. So of course it'll surprise nobody to know that even if there has been a rough period in the past, that Shannon is up and active and out there engaging in new activities and creating new business opportunities.
And if you even think of, say, Munster games and the Heineken Cup games and Magnus League games, I mean, that alone, they award somewhere between 8 to 12 million per game for the city of Limerick, and indeed that spins out into the region.
So we won't talk about Good Friday and
we won't talk about those
that
yet,
great challenge against Leinster. But
that's great.
Something else, of course, that I was looking at recently, which is terrific to see, maybe you might tell us a little bit more about it, is your use of SatNav to map visitor attractions in your regions and your plan to extend this technology further. That sounds tremendous.
We've done a pilot there over the last year, in particularly around Nina, and looked at some points of interest, as they call them, and have make sure they were mapped on satellite and GPS. And we've rolled it out now to 1,000 points of interest across the region. First agency to do that, working very closely with the technology companies like the Garmin and TomToms. So anyone coming to the region now on their sat-nav can get to any location of note or interest across the region and the area very quickly and very easily in a very user-friendly way. So it's probably we're one of the first agencies to actually put that into play in a very meaningful and practical manner, and it's been fantastic so
Great.
far.
Well done, and not surprising that yet again you're at the leading edge of innovation in Shannon. And Pat, thank you for talking to us, and wish you the very best of luck in this region, the very best of luck for the coming season.
Thanks, Eamon. Thank you.